TV back again. What's good, people? Everybody good? Man, it's been a busy weekend, but we're back to talk the best things in boxing. Really looking forward to this show. We're just waiting for the co-host, Sam. You know what these guys, these young bucks are like, always running late. But nice, all good. I'm sure he will be joining us very soon. But guys, how are we feeling? For those of you that are just joining the channel for the first time, the second time, or the 100th time, if you haven't done the most important thing, which is subscribe, please do so. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let's get this community growing. Let's get more people watching the show. Guys, what did you guys think of the fight last weekend? I mean, Saturday night, it's gone. It was a long day for most of us. Stayed up, grueling, waiting through the hours, through numerous national anthems, and obviously classical Mexican songs, which you kind of just need to hear at big fights. But yeah, no, I don't know how you guys felt. I was really happy. Not just in terms of like, not talking about the result. I was just happy that we was getting to see big crowds again. You know, to be able to see so many people over in that Dallas stadium was a blessing. To be fair, for those people that got to experience it, that was a triple best blessing. So yeah, make sure that those of you that did go, you feel more than grateful for that. But yeah, definitely in terms of the show, I think, you know, it delivered. I thought the undercard wasn't great, you know, and we're going to chop that up throughout the show. But I definitely do think, you know, that in terms of the entertainment, the lights. I mean, one thing I know it's random, but even the crispness, there was a crispness to the production, like the production that was being shown, levels, absolute levels. So yeah, so for me, I thought it was a show well done. What's good, bro?
What's happening? Sorry, Amazon parcel came through. Had to kind of start off. But yeah, no, I'm here, man. I wanted to start the show with payday. You want payday?
Well, Canelo was on one last night, innit? I say last night, it was on one that night, bro.
He was on smoke. Do you know why I like him? Because he was so cool throughout the week. He was just calm. It was like, do you know what? If he wants a bigger ring, he can have a bigger ring. Yeah. If he wants to call out my people, let him call out my people. Because he's coming into the ring with me. Do you know what I'm saying? And he dealt with it, bro. Personally, I think Canelo, that was a sound performance from Canelo. I think maybe it was a bit more on the emotional side from Canelo, because he wanted to teach him a lesson. I just wanted to go for the knockout. But in terms of all this stuff saying that, you know, if he was Billy Joe, if Billy Joe had a few more rounds, he was getting into the fight, I think that's nonsense, man, because watch the fight again. Having watched it 3 or 4 times, like when we spoke before, he set him up nicely. He set him up perfectly for that.
I mean, you can go back and see other fights where he's thrown that same punch, you know, when he's maybe not had the same effect to other people, but he's thrown that same punch. So he knows what he's doing with the technique. You know, you go through a lot of his videos, you know, you're just seeing him hitting the pads in that way. So it's a very, I'm going to say common, but it's quite common for it to see this guy just literally go through the gears and just be like, whoosh, like uppercut, jab. I mean, we're going to talk about the performance for sure. But I think, bro, I mean, you know, we let the dust settle. I mean, look, like I said, for those that didn't get to tune in, we did a live. So yeah, make sure if you can go and watch that, but if not, definitely tune in and subscribe. But I mean, looking at it as how do I say this now? Like performance wise, and let's be real. Like, what would you give Canelo's performance out of 10?
Do you know what? I'd give it a 7.
Yeah,
6 or 7, because I don't think the guy was fully in gear. He wasn't fully in gear. I don't really feel he was pushed to being the best Canelo. I feel that was a very kind of mediocre Canelo in comparison to performances we've seen. But yeah, I'll give it a 7, just purely based on how I didn't think he was fully in the gears. He wasn't really, because the fight his game was to walk him down and knock him out. That was his game. Didn't throw one jab. Just wanted to walk him down and knock him out. And that's not, to me, that's not the best Canelo. The best Canelo I saw was probably the Canelo against Daniel Jacobs.
Yeah.
That was my favorite Canelo of recent. Just the way he was making him miss the shots and the jabs and whatnot. We didn't really see any of that. But
Yeah, no, and I think that's a good score. I mean, I will probably go. Yeah, you're right. I think seven between I say either a 7 or an 8. I think because it was hard to say there was huge flaws. I do think, and we'll get into it, but whilst I gave Billy Joe, I gave him the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th rounds. I do think that was Canelo in chill mode. I think that was him. Oh, he's gone. But yeah, for those of you listening, I do think for me that was Canelo kind of just taking not necessarily a back seat, but allowing Billy Joe Saunders to work. And from doing that work, it gives him a positive because, he's still kind of walking he's still walking Billy Joe Saunders down. However, he just wasn't getting clipped with huge shots. He was getting clipped with a couple of double jabs, straight lefts, but nothing that was like, geez, like he's got to worry. So, for me, I would have said it was a 7 and 8. What I really liked with Canelo was the body shots, and everyone's going to say it, but it was the inside of the body. Yes, big man like Zayn. Zayn's in the building already.
Oh, Canelo's #1 UK fan.
For those of you that don't know, Zayn is a big Canelo fan. And he was definitely supporting his guy on Saturday. But yeah, so I would have said 8. In terms of Billy Joe Saunders, it's a weird one because I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to start so slow. Now I know that was Canelo, but I thought he was going to really meet him at the center of the ring, work the jab. But even some of his straight right, straight left. Sorry, it didn't look like it was going to trouble Canelo at all. It just looked like pity pat punches. And again, I'm not being critical with hindsight, but I always just wondered, would he have the power to stop Canelo moving forward? And that's what you're talking about. Canelo, whilst he lost the first Triple G fight, Triple G was still at times cautious and respectful of Canelo's power. He wasn't just walking him down at all times. Billy Joe, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, bro. So listen, we've got to get into the essentials. I mean, where does Canelo go from here?
I mean, he could do the Andrade fight, but I don't think that would happen because I think Canelo's proven himself. And to be honest, it would be nice to see him fight Andrade, but I don't think it's worth Canelo's time. Depending on, the deals with Eddie and whatnot. Yeah. I feel Canelo goes to either Caleb Plant. Otherwise, what's really good? He's not completed the division, but he's kind of more or less done everything he needs to do, man. You might see him try and unify at light heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only kind of place he can really go, try and unify at light heavyweight and go after that, because he says he wants to be in boxing for the next 5 years or so. But
I swear he even said 7 years, bro.
He said 7.
Yeah, when he was asked in the prelude, he was like, yeah, he wants to stay in the game for the next 7 years. So I'm like, for me, I'm like, can he? And not like in terms of ability wise, but I'm just like, what's going to be out there for him?
Nah, man, I think, do you know what? I think 3-4 years time he's done. But it's still going to be a very young fight. But at the same time, Canelo's been fighting from a very young age, man.
This is it.
He's been fighting for a number of years. So when people just see him on the scene now, this is years of graft and hard work of getting himself in the scene and fighting whoever wants smoke.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, right? You're talking about somebody that started fighting at a young age, was doing all those like Mexican bar and brawls type of stuff. He's really peaked. He's been fighting at the elite level for a very long time. And for me, I'm like 7 years. I'm like, surely you would get bored. But do you know what? If he does, I'm here for it because it can only mean that he's going to keep taking on more challenges. I think he's only got about another 5 challenges out there currently. And then, you're talking about, even if that's 5 fights, that's, to be fair, that's still 2, max 3 years. So over the next 2 years, I'm sure there's going to be other individuals that present themselves. Maybe not as a threat, but, just to give a good competitive fight. And on that as well, I mean, for Billy Joe Saunders, where do you think he goes from here?
Oh, tough question. Billy Joe, I think that really broke his confidence, man. You saw him crying on the store, man. He was really, really distraught. I do think he might be able to get back to world level, yes. But a rematch of Canelo, I think that's completely gone out the window. I think it's quite sad. I think the most lucrative fight for him out there is probably I mean, he can go after like the Jacobs of the world, the Charlos, but like, come on, let's be honest. This is Billy Joe's biggest step up, and the reason why that was his biggest step up because he knew he was never going to see money like that for a while unless he beats Canelo. And I just think he should. I think he should do a fight at Eubank, man.
I mean, I think that's obviously that's probably when I say easiest, that's like the easiest. But I think to your point, you know, I think it's really going to be about, you know, how he recovers from this eye injury, because I think if they say to him the fracture's secure and the bone structure looks quite solid, then really he's got to be going up to the next levels. And when I say the next levels, he's got to be going up to the Charlos, the Plus. He's got to stay there if he wants to stay at 168. If he drops to 160, again, take on a Golovkin, you know, because no matter what, like, I mean, God knows what that power is going to do to his face, to be fair. But
I was going to say, Golovkin hits way harder than Canelo, man.
Yeah, you're talking about.
But I feel like Billy Joe would have had a better fight and done much better against Golovkin than Canelo, man.
Yeah, because it's a weird one, though. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, but I'm starting. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Because I think
you know what,
Golovkin's underrated sometimes a little bit.
No, 100%.
Because he kind of seems being basic, but yeah, I think it's the power, bro.
No, the power, but I also feel that if Billy Joe does the same antics he did with Canelo, I think Golovkin will pull the fight. I feel Golovkin's the kind of guy that will pull the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, you mean you wouldn't want to go from 20 to 24-foot ring?
Nah, I feel like he would pull the fight. Canelo is not so much, but Golovkin, I generally feel he would save.
But you know what? And the thing is, I think what we underrate, and I need to find this clip, but I think we probably underrate the way both of them would want to hurt Billy Joe Saunders. Because if you think back to that press conference where Billy Joe turned up when they were fighting each other, they had one in London, and he turned up and he was saying, you know, you're rubbish, you're this, you're that. I think they took that personally. Like Canelo for sure took that personally. I mean, you told me about the whole easy money. Like there were, and even when you think back to the weigh-in, he was so confident. Like there was, I started thinking, I was like, boy, is he being overconfident? Is he a tad overconfident? You're talking about turquoise, silk satin pajamas. Do you know what I mean? Like just there, Alexander McQueen's like multicolored. But listen, let me bring in Zayn. Let's hear what Canelo's #1 spokesperson has got to say.
Here we go.
Big Z, what's popping?
What's happening, bro? You alright?
We're good, man. How are you, man? How are you?
Still buzzing off that victory, man. It was a sweet victory, I guess. You know what I mean? Because there was a lot of emotion behind it, you know?
Yeah, man.
How are
the trolls been for you, man? You must have been enjoying these last few days on social media.
You know, not many have been coming around, you know. I think they're all quiet now since that victory, you know what I mean? So it's only right, you know. If Canelo lost, I would have put my hands up and said, look, man, the best man won, you know. But they've got excuses. They've got a lot of excuses, you know.
Exactly. I mean, I saw one Billy Joe Saunders fan state that he thinks Canelo would be scared to take the rematch, and that Saunders was doing well. What do you guys think of that?
Honestly, like, go on, let Sam go first. I'll let you go, bro, because I got so much to say about that.
Bro, he wants payday.
Yeah, that's the
That was so funny, man.
That's right, man. Ah, man. You know what?
Bro.
I wish.
But bro, do you know what's mad? Do you know what's mad though? What I find mad is that even though Billy walked out the ring, bro. He just cut. He didn't even say, listen, I'll be back stronger. God bless all my fans. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that. Man just walked out. He came up, don't get me wrong, he embraced Canelo and was like, shit. He was like, you know what? Shit, you're the real deal type thing. Them to walk out the way he did, and for everyone to say, I saw this stuff on Twitter about why are you filming the guy? Why are you filming the guy going to the ambulance and whatnot? I'm like, bro, this is just not content. If that was Canelo, you'd be like, oh yeah, great, film it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was true. You're right. You know what I mean? They just got to give him credit, man. And I think a lot of fanboys of Billy Joe Saunders, they're not giving him that credit, man. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said with the fanboy thing. I think there's too much of that. I think, you know, you got to look at it and just say, you know, this guy here that we're looking at, Canelo with his coach Eddie Reynoso, like you're talking about pound for pound levels here. And that's the other thing I think people have to also just say is there's no shame in losing to guys like that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this moment here is probably going to be an iconic moment in boxing history now, bro, because man don't put both arms up, like clenching the muscle, clenching the muscles, like yeah, it's showtime. And you saw, do you guys remember the look on Canelo's face once he saw that eye? Because even in this picture, if you look carefully, his eye is still a little bit open, but it's beginning to close.
Yeah.
And bro, I reckon, like, we can't say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if his whole eye was sunken, because if that bone is damaged, that's the bone.
No, it was, bro. It was. It was. Yeah. If you look closely at the ring, remember his eye. You couldn't see his eye for a minute. They had to start moving it up around. They couldn't see his eye for a minute. That's why I was just like, and his body language. As much as people say he did, his body language said, "I can't continue." His body language actually said that. I was like, yeah, go on. The way he was
that punch landed, we just knew. It was like his body language. You said it there, bro.
Bro, even when he caught that shot, even when he caught him in that shot, his leg started buckling. I was like, oh. But you know what? One thing, Billy Joe, he's got a chin, man. I fuck with it. He's got a chin. He's not a punk, man. He's actually not a punk. Like, as a lot of people say, he's actually not a punk. Like, he was getting punched up. I was like, taking it. No, I give him that.
He was moving back. But I agree with what you're saying, Sam, in essence, is that like some of the shots that he's landing, we've seen Canelo like just his lights out with some man with some of those shots. Do you know what I mean? Like absolutely like lights out. So we've got Josh Jones in the comments. Big up Josh Jones. Make sure we get to see that subscription, that hit that notification bell. And he said, man like Z is spot on. BGS fanboys acting like BGS was 18. Genuinely don't understand their mindset. Do you know what? If I can speak to that great comment there, Josh Jones, I agree. I don't understand their mindset. And I'll tell you why. I saw the behind the scenes clip that DAZN put on Twitter. And you see like Canelo walking to the room, and Canelo's like, he's basically saying the easy money. He said, what did I tell you? Easy money. But if you go in the comments, people are like, what does he mean easy money? He was getting outworked. You were losing the fight. And I'm like, oh.
No, I don't think he was losing the fight. That's a bit like favoritism there, isn't it?
Yeah, but because I would never stress it. Like, I still had Canelo winning, but it was close. I had it
close.
I had it close because at the end of the day, I gave both of them the 10th round. Then I gave 2, 3, 4 to Canelo. Then 5, 6, 7 to 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5, 6, 7 to Saunders. Then the 8th to Canelo.
It was getting tight. It was getting real tight, bro. It was getting real tight. And I think that was Canelo's game plan, you know. I honestly feel Canelo was winding him up, allowing him to feel, all right, let him get a bit, you know, because he was new, like, he said, let him get a bit more busy, because at the moment, he's not going to knock him out when a man's just running around the ring. Let's not forget, he wasn't going into the center. Let's not forget that he wasn't trying to engage with Canelo. He was trying to hit and move on the outside. Move on the outside. And obviously, Canelo's thinking, I'm trying to walk this guy down, and he keeps moving. So the big ring's actually benefiting Billy Joe and his game plan. So Canelo was thinking, do you know what? Let me make up like I'm a little bit tired. Let me try to slow down a little bit. Let me be a bit more flat-footed. Let me stand in the center a bit more. That's when Billy got a bit comfortable, man. Billy started just throwing, and his guard started going down, which is what led to that huge uppercut that just kind of fucked him.
That was mad.
Phil Harvey said BJ was in the fight, but not winning the fight. Truth be known, and middle finger. Like we said, 5, 6, 7. Those were his rounds. But he definitely wasn't, like you said there, he wasn't winning the fight. We got Josh Jones also saying, look, it was tight, but Canelo turned it up in round 8 and proved he is pound for pound #1. And that's exactly it. And I think...
But bro, when you're saying tight, though, what's tight? I don't think it was tight. When you think about it...
I know what you're saying, but I mean, I would agree with it because of how I scored it. Because I've got it. I scored, like I said, 10... And then there's still 3, 3, and then 4. So it's like it is tight on the cards. But I think, and I hate to say it like this, it's irrelevant when you're dealing with certain fighters like Canelo, because like you can win you could have Billy Joe Saunders could have won the first 7 rounds, but once the 8th round and the 8th round happened the way it did, what happens? He was a
Nah. I just think, do you know what? Eddie Hearn, everyone's getting onto Eddie as well, saying that Eddie showed his cards, he's a Canelo guy. And I'm like, but what do you, a promoter is always going to be more A side than B naturally anyway. It's going to look that way. But obviously, people were saying about the behind the scenes when he was like, oh, unbelievable, getting it. Like, I'm like, what do you expect a man to be? Do you expect it to be like, no, you messed up my guy? Let's not forget as well, Billy Joe's talking, people are talking that Eddie should be loyal to Billy Joe. Don't forget, not a few years ago, before that DAZN money came, Billy Joe was clowning Eddie. Saying that Warren's been giving him the bag.
Yeah. So Z, listen, I want to come to you and ask you, in terms of like just moving on from that, how do you rate Canelo's performance on the night? Sam's giving it a 7. I've said it's 7 or 8. What would you say? I probably should have given it
an 8. I'll be honest, I give it an 8, but it could be a 9. But the reason why I gave it an 8 is because I just feel that he could still do a lot more improvement, you know. I know he's improved so much, you know. But the thing is about Canelo, every single fight he's improving, is showing much more. So I still feel there's a lot more that he can add to his game, you know. And not only that experience with Saunders, him being a slick sort of southpaw, will definitely improve his skill set going into the Caleb Plant fight, you know. That's going to be serious, you know. And because Caleb Plant, he's a similar sort of boxer than Saunders, it kind of gives him that preparation, you know. I know Caleb Plant is a bit more heavy-handed than Saunders, definitely, I've got to admit that. But he's dealing with a boxer sort of puncher. So with that being said, I think it's great preparation. But at the same time, I'm so happy that he got the stoppage, man, because he made out what he said, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, just a last question on Canelo for you guys. I mean, between 160, 168, maybe 175, is there who do you think? Who are the top 2 guys, or are there any guys that could beat Canelo?
What, a light heavyweight?
From 160, 168, 175. You can give me one from each division. You can give me one person, but is there anybody that springs to mind that you think can beat Canelo?
I think, you know, only size is going to beat Canelo at this moment in time. And I think if he goes up to light heavyweight, maybe face Artur Beterbiev, maybe a Bivol, then that will kind of get him out of his comfort zone, you know. And the power shots with them is going to be a big factor. So I think they will give him trouble, but anyone up below that, I don't think so. You could
I disagree, bro. Bro.
Yeah, all right.
Errol Spence, baby.
Nah.
I think he's too small, bro. But you never know.
Spence.
Is that your opinion, yeah? What about Charlo? I think Charlo's got a better chance, no?
But you got to break that one down for me, bro.
Spence, I feel Spence is good enough, man. I think Spence is tough enough, and I think he'll be able to really trade with Canelo.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's a big statement, bro.
You not heard it here first. If Errol Spence fights Canelo, Spence is taking it.
Wow. I mean, I wouldn't have even gone down. I wasn't going that far, bro. I don't know about Spence. I can't see that. I'll say, to be honest,
Kojo, what do you think?
So for me, if I'm going to be honest, you might say nah because you're mad, but I think it's 2 things, right? I think it's unlikely you're going to get a points decision. So I think it's even going to be tough to stop him. So I think 168, it's tough. I think the only guy I might have backed, 2 guys I might have backed, if I'm being real, is Benavidez. Just because Canelo went chasing that WBC belt when he held it. So like I would say Benavidez. But I think, truth be told, I think his bigger challenges will come at 175 because I think he's a champion there already. But I think the guys like Beterbiev, look, I know you might say nah, but even you guys like Badu Jack, and these other guys, even maybe not Bivol, but potentially Bivol. I think what they pose is like they've got that natural power, they've got that natural strength, and they can box a little bit. I'm not saying I think they will beat Canelo, but I think they will give us that type of fight where you're like, right, this was mad close and it's gone to 12 rounds. Caleb Plant, I would have backed Caleb Plant, but you know what it is? Caleb Plant lives the life. He's got the skill set, but again, I think his power is really going to cause him question, because you look at his last 3 fights, they haven't been on the level that they should be. Caleb tracks, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, he beat Miguel years ago and then lost the rematch. Since Uzgatikwa, he's not really stepped up, if I'm being frank. I understand he fought that guy in Nashville, but yeah, for me, I'm not confident with Caleb Plant. I think I would back Benavidez. I don't think Charlo, but yeah, I think Benavidez or Better Bivol Battle Jack. I think those guys will give him a tough fight. But yeah, let's see what we say. Let me go to a couple of the comments. Josh Jones saying closer than people expected, bro. Yeah, I guess you could argue that with some rounds. The truth, boxing when Canelo. The truth is when Canelo hit you, you've never been hit like that before. Yeah, I agree. And Phil Harv saying no way. I reckon that's to your Errol Spence comment, bro. I got to Sam.
Listen,
I like the vision though. I'm feeling that vision, but
all right, you know, heard it here, yeah.
That's mad.
But that's a fantasy though. That is a fantasy. I'm very wishful thinking, but my heart says Errol. But also Andre Ward, I think he beats Canelo, man, easily.
But he can't come back and beat Canelo.
No. Prime Andre Ward, Canelo.
The Andre Ward that probably beat
I think that'll be a tough fight.
Yeah, but I think you know what it is. But that's where you see the natural weight, the size, the smarts. Like, that's what sees him go through. I think. Yeah, I think Andre Ward. I would have agreed with that. Phil, I think he's agreed with me. I think it was that Spence comment, Sam. So Z, I'm going to ask you a question. Really, and I asked this to Sam. Where does Billy Joe Saunders go from here?
Well, Billy Joe Saunders, bro, like, he needs to recover first of all, innit? You know, that was a shocking eye injury. Not even the orbital. He had 3 fractures or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, he needs to recover from that first. You know, then assess how his body's feeling. If he can still, get in there. I don't think he's gonna be the same fighter he is, but we're yet to see that. You know.
Yeah. And
what do you think?
Yeah, no, I said more or less the same thing. But I do want to get your thoughts though on the post-fight conference. We heard Sam say, Sam, give us a little bit that you want payday.
Payday, you want payday.
There was so much to talk about, right? Obviously, Saunders wasn't there, so it was really the Canelo show. But how refreshing was it? And I'm probably going to sound like a fanboy when I say this, but how refreshing was it to hear him just deliver the post-conference in English? And then especially with the back and forth with Andre. I mean, you guys, I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, like Canelo seems to be turning into a different persona now. He's sort of looking like Mayweather when he went from Money May into, so he went from Pretty Boy into Money. I'm not saying he's got a name change for Canelo, but I'm just saying like, this English version of Canelo is very gangster.
I like it, man. I like it. When I heard him talking about Andrade, when he was like, it's like, you're a horrible fighter. I was like, yikes. That is like an insult, you know. That's not even, he's not even saying, he's saying you're not even on his level. He's like, you're just terrible. You're not even worth my time. Get out of here. And then he was like, then when he was just saying, he was like, just get the fuck out of here. I was like, whoa. And then Eddie was backing it saying, Dimitri, not here. I'm like, raw, Eddie shouldn't have done that, you know. If that's your guy, you shouldn't do that. But obviously Eddie's just like, my cash cow.
That's it. I mean, come on. And the thing is, Eddie knows, like, and I was saying this because, I'll be honest, I actually thought Canelo might go to PBC, but just to quickly change to talk on that is Eddie knows Canelo being a free agent makes his life a lot easier because he himself isn't tied to the network and he can't say, I'm going to make him fight on DAZN or I'm going to make him fight on Sky Sports because they're going to say, Canelo, he does what he wants. He's that level now. There's few fighters in the world and that can do that, and he's one of them. But Z, your thoughts on Andre? Do you think that's the right way for him to get a fight with Canelo?
I think Canelo in the past has been prone to getting fights with people that call him out like that in press conference. With that being said, like, remember when we go back to see Erislandy Lara call him out at our press conference?
Yeah.
But at this time, I feel that Canelo's his own boss, whereas before he was under Golden Boy.
Yeah.
So he pretty much hit the nail on the head. Who has Demetrius Andrade fought? Apart from like Liam Williams, he's not elite though, is he?
But
That's my opinion.
okay, and I'm not. It's not about. But
Well,
see, and sometimes I think we have to be fair to him in the sense of he was going to fight Billy Joe Saunders.
yeah.
Like, and it's true what he's saying. Like,
Okay.
it's stupid because Andrade was like, "Well, who have you fought?" Which is a dumb thing to say. But my point is, Andrade has been slightly unfortunate in terms of opportunities.
Definitely, I get what you're saying, but it goes to say now everyone wants that Canelo fight. So it's like you gotta be deserving. The fans gotta want it now, you know.
Yeah,
If the fans want it, then they can make it happen. But I don't feel that there's enough people wanting to see that fight right now.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I really don't know. There's a lot of sort of people calling out Canelo right now. You've even got like these other domestic up and coming fighters. Like, I don't know, Zach Parker, he called him out today, and I was like, "What? You don't deserve that." You know what I mean? You're not on that level, bro.
You know,
Josh Jones said BJ's fans shouting for a rematch. What you guys saying? Guys, quick answer on the rematch.
I'd love it. I want to get him. I want to see him get hit even more. I want him quick, like proper. Let's do it. I don't mind.
Question for Josh though, you got to deep it. If Billy Joe won, but I don't know how, but if he managed to win, would Billy Joe give him a rematch? Never. Billy Joe will keep it moving, man. Billy Joe will keep it moving.
You know what? It's fair. Because if they had underestimated him to that point where there's no rematch clause, and then Billy Joe won. But the thing is, bro, the money at stake there, he wouldn't let that go. Like, he ain't gonna let that go. Like,
bro, do you hear about Mike Coppinger? Do you hear Mike Coppinger? Mike Coppinger tweeted that Billy Joe earned 8M.
Yeah, because I think he was like 3 million official purse, and then on the upside, it went up by about 4 million. So Phil Harvey saying BJ should have stopped at 160, as he done it at 160. Truth be known, man, you're not happy with Billy Joe Saunders, are you, mate? That middle finger's coming out for him all the time. I think the English talking is under the advice of Matchroom to make him more marketable. Guess that's the Canelo. Canelo's £200 on the night, probably. But what can we do? Billy Joe would have given. So Anthony Roberts says Billy Joe would have given a rematch because he would have gotten big bucks. Yeah, I think so. Josh Jones saying 100%. I don't think there should be a rematch. Canelo proved his quality. Yep, absolutely agree 100%. With
Josh to be Jones. Honest, like, if he had gone the distance, if Billy Joe managed to go the distance, I'd say maybe he deserved it. But he got knocked out, bro. His eye was done. You know, we knew he was going to get knocked out if he came out into round 9, but they stopped it from happening.
The only thing that keeps Billy Joe sane is that he actually didn't drop and hit the canvas. I think that's what keeps him okay, knowing that he didn't actually drop to the canvas.
I think those are big. Those are small talking points, but you're right, Sam. I think they're important. You know, not being knocked out, not hitting the canvas. I agree with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Guys, I want to ask. Go ahead, Z.
I was just gonna say, do you feel that Canelo's gonna get the credit he deserves? And did Billy Joe Saunders quit?
Good question. I think Canelo will get the credit he deserves. Like, in general, logical boxing fans, I think they struggle to criticize him and say that he's whatever. I think logical, you know, if we take away the Billy Joe Saunders fanboys, I think logical boxing fans will give him his credit. And I'll answer that one. I'll come to the second one. Sam, what do you think? What do you think? Will he get his credit?
He'll always get his credit because he's phenomenal. Anyone that knows that boxing knows how phenomenal Canelo is, man. Like, your only loss was to Mayweather in 2013 or 2014. Like, come on. But in terms of did Billy Joe quit as well in the other part of your question, no, I don't think he quit. I don't think that's quit. It's a smart move. He's kind of pulled him out. And then this just goes back to what me and Coach were talking about with the Bois. We said, well, he didn't quit. Like, bro, something like that happens. But then one of my other uncles, not uncle just about to call, that always calls in the show, one of my other uncles said to me, he says, well, to be fair, they all quit because he said boxing is fight till the very end, fight to the death. it's a very sensible decision not to quit because it makes sense. But if you're looking at it from that point of view, yes, it is quitting because it's fighting to the very, very end, fight to the death. And that resonated with me because
I don't know.
obviously you don't see it as quitting, but it technically is.
But I gotta say, Sam, it goes back to what he said about Dubois though. He was cussing Dubois a lot, and I didn't like that, to be honest.
No, Dubois got too much stick, man.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I'm going to put up some pictures, but Sam, to that last point, I think, that's the thing. I think we have to understand, we get the lines blurred because look, like if fighter dies in the ring, we're all upset. We all say why this sport is dangerous, and
that's true.
A lot of the time when the fighters died, maybe when I say it's preventive, it wasn't like there was a big injury, there was a bleed on the brain or it's a bad knockout, and it just happens kind of thing. Whereas if we could see Billy Joe's eye, we know he can't see. Same with Triple D. You've got to stop the fight. Now, the clever thing for Billy Joe Saunders is that, and this is what I'll say, I'll give my props to Mark Tibbs. He stopped the fight. Like, he didn't let him go out. He's taking all the flack, if you like, but he's taking the responsibility. Triple D had to go on his knee. So that's, even that element is where people will say, oh, well, that's where there's a difference. But actually, the coach should have threw the towel in. But for me, it's not quitting. If you break your hand, and you get an excruciating pain, you can't continue. You need your hands to fight. You need your eyes to fight. You need to see the punches coming. 100%. So, but to that point, I do think, and I'm going to quickly pull this up because I think there was a lot of backlash. And I think it was the comparison, when it was like, we saw this screenshot. This is from most of and I like those guys, the IFL guys, but, even their titling, we've got to be real here. Look at the difference in the titles to this. He could have gone blind. I would have done the same thing. Say what you want. He ain't blind compared to Dubois. How much do you want it? Johnny Nelson questions him. Man's out here quitting. Dillian White, I don't give a fuck. You can hit me with a bat. Tony Bellew, he broke his heart. Dave Allen. Do you know what I mean? And it's like...
Yeah. I was a bit disappointed that Tony Bellew said that, Like, I like his brand and who he is, but he talks too much, man, in that regard. I didn't really think that's right. Because look, what's he saying about Billy Joe? Oh, what a warrior. What a warrior. You know how he is.
Yeah, man. That's it. So guys, listen, one before we move on though, and we're gonna finish on the Fury. I gotta just say, this picture did make me laugh. We had Andrade walking around. Canelo and Billy Joe are scared to fight Boo Boo, and I'm just like, the way he embraced that T-shirt and wore that T-shirt, it's like he was actually acting like he's gonna get recognized. I'm pretty certain most people didn't even know he was in the arena. It's not even a type of T-shirt that you're gonna read. You're gonna look at it and you're gonna see the text or the font. You're gonna let me read what that says. Like, oh, cool. So I just thought, I get what he's doing, but he's a funny guy.
I think he should have fought Charlo, one of the Charlo brothers, because they have a beef going on. So that would have been good to see. I think they all want the Canelo fight, but they're not fighting each other.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. See, they're all fighting. They all want. But the thing is, we know why. It's that payday. So, guys, listen. I'm gonna. And yes, the man is joined in. The big man, Ade. Can you hear me? I'm gonna bring in the big man, Ade Oladipo, quickly before we open the phone lines. Big man, Ade.
Yo. Can you hear me?
We hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, people. I've literally just ran home. I was running thinking, shit, Kojo's gonna be upset with me. I'm running home, Coach.
How you doing, brother? Appreciate your time as always, man. How you doing?
Man. Come on. Brother, I had to come on. You told me to jump on. I had to jump on already. I had to jump on, brother. Appreciate you guys having me on, man.
Absolutely. And guys that are tuning in, he's going to be doing a live as soon as this show is finished. So make sure you clock on to Addie's live as well. It's going to be good. I think he's going to be talking about the Joshua Fury. So you might get some exclusive news there. But Addie, I've got to ask you, Billy Joe Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders, did Billy Joe quit?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I know we like to not use that word nowadays, right, in boxing, just because everyone almost gets a slap on the wrist when they say, oh, he quit. It's funny how other boxers are allowed to say about other boxers, but we that never laced up the gloves aren't allowed to use those words. When Daniel Dubois went on one knee, everyone said he quit, right? The whole boxing world. I remember IFL TV done about 100 interviews and all the titles are like, he quit.
What did I just talking about that? I just lifted Look at that.
See, there you go, right? I mean, all of them said it. I remember even when AJ got beat by Andy Ruiz and Dave Allen said AJ quit.
Yeah.
almost like there's, we can say it to some people, we can't say it to others. So look, he should never have continued anyway. But the way in which he was talking beforehand, I'm a gypsy warrior. You have to carry me out of there. All that kind of stuff. Sometimes it can bite you back in the ass. Sometimes it can, because sometimes you will get asked to prove that. And it was an awful injury. But the fact is, he went back to the corner and he didn't really, it's not like he was like, no, we need to continue. He was like, I'm done. Pull me out of here. And they pulled him out. Look, they made the right decision in the end. But I don't think anyone can say this guy didn't quit, unfortunately. It's a horrible term, but it's true. Yeah.
So, Ali, I've got to ask you, and then I'll let the guys ask the next question. How would you rate Canelo's performance? If you had to give him a score out of 10, what would you give him, and what were the positives, negatives you would say you think you saw in the fight?
Before I score it, what I will say, watching it back, because I watched it a couple of times, when you're watching it live, you're so engaged in it, it's quite difficult. You're watching it, it's so difficult, right? Especially you guys did it live, it's hard. You're trying to commentate and trying to watch, it's very difficult. I watched it again, and I'm telling you now, I've seen Canelo go to gear 5 when he fought Golovkin. Canelo didn't go past gear 2 in that fight. Honestly, it's almost like it's almost like he felt Billy Joe's punches and it was like, really? This is it? He saw his skill set and was like, okay, this is all the hype. This is what you've got. If this is what you've got, you're in trouble. And you might be losing rounds like on the scorecards, but mentally he's winning those, he's putting those rounds in the bank. Like there's a couple of times where Billy Joe landed a couple of jabs, maybe 4 or 5 shots. Canelo landed 1 to the body. And when you're in there against someone, you can hear them wince when you land that body shot. It's like, okay, you won the round, but I've got you. I know I'm slowing your legs down. I'm hitting you to the body and I'm chopping that tree down. So look, I thought it was a solid performance from Canelo. And like I said, I don't think he got out of gear 2. I mean, Billy Joe landed a couple of good shots, fair dues, but Canelo was just about to go into that tool bag and bring out tools that Billy Joe hasn't seen before. And that's what you get from fighting at world elite level for the last 7 years compared to someone that's had a couple of fights against David Lemieux and Andy Lee and a Akavov. There's levels to this boxing game, and I think Canelo was just about to show Billy Joe Saunders the levels.
Yeah, and Adi, I'm going to let the guys ask you a question, but I want to show you this this tweet from Sky Robinson, and from Sky, and he says, "I always think of the late Dean Powell telling me you can't do in 6 to 8 weeks what you should have done in 6 to 8 years," and I have to think he said that before the fight, and I think that was proven. Forgetting I just think overall that was shown.
Yeah, I mean, look, come on. I mean, all of us will say, Sam and Zanes, everyone will say exactly the same thing. Who's ever seen Canelo out of shape? Like Canelo goes into camp trying to sharpen tools, as opposed to Billy Joe Saunders that goes into camp to get in shape and then sharpen tools. One's the pound for pound number 1 that goes into camp in shape all the time. One is a guy that's living off the British hype of always the best British boxer we've seen for years. And I'm like, well, let's slow down a bit, man. We get overexcited in this country and we chuck them to America and we get embarrassed because we overhype them. It's weird. We always do it with British boxers. It's one win on the resume and we go crazy. I'm guilty of it. I remember when Kell Brook beat Sean Porter, and I was like, oh my God, Kell's here. And then after it's like Beezer and Jojo Dan. I mean, I need to see a consistent body of work. Consistent. And the Americans are laughing because their guys are doing consistent body of work. I mean, look at Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey, Loma. That's already a consistent body of work, and it's going to get more. I mean, Billy Joe just didn't have it, unfortunately, and he got showed up. You know what was scary for him? When he was walking to the ring by himself in front of 78,000. We've never seen that single ring walk, right? Normally you're walking with your trainer, your man, everyone's walking together. That was as daunting as it got. I think then, because he tried to do this little dance thing, I knew he was nervous, and I was like, he's fucked.
I remember seeing the dance, and I was a bit like, I'll be honest, bro. I was like, okay, he's soaking it up because I've seen fighters walk to the ring and like the audience has hit them, and then the noise, and they have looked tense, but he looked quite relaxed. It didn't help him in the fight, obviously, but he looked quite relaxed, and I thought it was quite funny. He did a little jiggy dance, like I'm sure that's his best moves that he puts out in Stevenage. But yeah, so for me, bro, I thought overall Canelo, was just another level.
This is Canelo's. This isn't his first rodeo at that kind of thing. Yes, he's not fought in front of 73,000 before, but he's done the big fights. He's done all the people chatting shit to him. He's done all the build up. He's done all this before. I mean, this is the guy that's been fighting at a high lick. Whether or not people say he's fighting guys past it, he's still fighting at a high lick for the last 10 years consistently. And even when he fights guys that are run of the mill, he gets rid of them. Like, there's no like, oh, he's trying to get rounds. He gets rid of him. Rocky Fielding, rid of him. Yielded him, rid of him. Guys that are not supposed to be in there with him, he gets rid of him. Our British guys, have you not seen what our British guys do? When they go rounds with someone, they say, oh, I wanted to get the rounds. Chris Eubank, I wanted to get the rounds against Marcus Morrison. We always, Billy Joe Saunders, oh, I wanted to get the rounds against Martin Murray.
Yeah.
Those guys over there, get rid of them. They're not supposed to be in there with me. End of.
Yeah, no, you're right. Guys, have you got a question for Addy?
Yeah, no, I've got a question. Addy, thinking of all this, you mentioned earlier about all the kind of trash talk and Canelo's been to the rodeo, but what did you make of that post-fight conference, bro?
Bruv, what, the one with Andrade?
Yeah,
man. What do you
Bruv, you know what? Yeah, it was beautiful. And look, and you know, I feel sorry for Andrade a little bit because obviously it's got to this stage where Andrade has got to do this to get him to get the fights. And I'm like, if I'm Andrade, I'm like, 1 second, I'm signed with you, DAZN. I'm signed with you, Eddie Hearn. I'm signed with you, Matchroom. Help me out a little bit. You know, I mean, Rocky Fielding can get a fight. Yildirim can get a fight. I can't get nothing. I'm a two-weight world champion. And people might say style shit, but yeah, I'm still an unbeaten two-weight world champion. Canelo said after, who have you fought to Andrade? And it might be true, but who is Billy Joe fought? Who is Joe fought in order to get that kind of opportunity? It's almost a bit unfair on Andrade, if I'm honest with you. Look, I don't think Andrade helps himself because his fighting style is a bit boring and it's a bit. I can understand. Look, Liam Williams, it was an awful fight, let's be honest. But the fact is, he's had to resort to that to get a fight. And Eddie Hearn was a bit out of order because Eddie Hearn was like, Andrade, not now, not now. And I'm like, wait a minute, man. Come on, Eddie. When you were trying to come to America and set up the DAZN thing, I was one of the first to sign with you. Everyone else said no. Broner said no. The Charlo said no. Javonte Davis said no. I said yes. Yeah, I'm getting treated like Andrade. Shut up. I'm with the cash girl. It was a bit unfortunate. I didn't like it for Andrade, but I loved Canelo's English. All of a sudden, Canelo speaks good English. His superstardom's going to go to another level now.
Yeah, man. That's a meme around the world. Everything he said about the payday, man. It's crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Honestly, it was crazy. Canelo right now, it's become something else right now, bruv. It's become something else.
I'll let you hit a question over to Addy.
Yeah, Addy, what was I going to say? Who do you think can pose the most challenges to Canelo now? Like, obviously, it's hard to find someone, but who do you feel?
Brother, it's such a good question, Zine, because I'm watching it. And when I'm watching Canelo nowadays, I'm watching him for mistakes. I'm not actually watching his fights for the good things he does because we know they're all there. And I'm almost seeing a complete fighter. I'm struggling to find faults now. Yes, people might say he's slow on his feet, but it cuts the ring off well. Like GGG was slow, but GGG knows to cut the ring off. So you almost feel like you're under pressure all the time. He can take a punch. He disguises his punches well. Great boxing IQ, mixes it up. And he's got the big fight experience. Everyone that we mention doesn't have this. So we can mention a few names. We can mention Benavidez, doesn't have a big fight experience. Caleb Plant doesn't have it. I mean, Jamal Charlo's got a chance, but right now I think these guys are all going to get put to sleep. It's actually quite scary, but that's what happens when you got an all-time great around. And for me, he's that now. He's an all-time great. It's not supposed to be easy to beat him. Yeah. I don't know, honestly, I don't know. It's going to take someone to dent him. I would like to see Bivol come down from 175 because Bivol's not the biggest 175-pounder, and he's very skillful. But even watching him against Craig Richards,
there you go.
I mean, he's not on that level either. Let's be honest.
Yeah, man.
He ain't on that level. I mean, I love Craig, but come on, let's be honest. He ain't on that level. Craig, at the time of Bivol fighting him, is a British level fighter, and Bivol struggled a little bit with Craig sometimes. So right now, I think he's unbeatable right now at 160 to 168. I really do. I think it only could be Jamal Charlo because Jamal Charlo's got that aggression, and Jamal Charlo looks like he can punch a bit as well. And you need to dent him. And if you don't dent him, good luck.
Yeah. So guys,
and he's cheating as well. So you got to deal with that shit as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, boss. Like, I mean, Addy, we spoke about that earlier. Actually, and we spoke about certain divisions. 160, 175. But what I wanted to ask though, and I know this is totally unrealistic, but let's just say, out of the maddest things that can happen, right? We saw Canelo take on our own guy, Lawrence Okolie, cruiserweight. He's not the biggest cruiserweight. He's tall, but he's raised, he's long. Like, would you even give Canelo a chance against a guy like Lawrence Okolie?
Nah, not having it. Nah. Lawrence hits like a truck. I've been to see Lawrence spar, and come on, bro, Raps. We were in Saudi with Lawrence. That guy's a monster.
Yeah.
Like, it's the kind of guy that when he stands up, you don't want to stand up because he's so big. It's embarrassing. Lawrence must be 6'5", bruv, and he hits like you're not supposed to hit like that. So, and that's what I'm gonna say. You need someone that can dent him, like really stop him in his tracks. And Lawrence will dent him. I mean, let's not. I mean, look, I like him as well, but even GGG was able to dent him. Look, GGG won their first fight, as far as I'm concerned. Lawrence will put him. Hey, Lawrence can hit. You know, if Lawrence catches him clean, I'm sorry, nah. Lawrence will put that.
And I think you are. I make you right for the power. I feel like it would be an interesting fight, though. Maybe while it lasts. But I feel it could be.
No, he's got to get past the Beterbiev first. Them hairy chest Russians, brother, that speak no English. Bruv, Beterbiev will put a beating on him as well. Look, the thing is that Beterbiev will hurt him, but bruv, no.
I think Canelo can beat Beterbiev, bro. You know, I won't lie to you. I think he can beat him.
Nah, I'm not having it. I'm having it.
I'm having it. I'm putting that.
Beterbiev's like 6'2", and he has to cut weight to make 175. Like the size difference would be too much.
Yeah,
I mean, surely these sizes count for a reason. Surely.
I hope so. But listen, bro, I thank you very much for joining.
Not at all, man. Not at all. Sorry, I was late, guys.
No worries. I know you're going to jump onto yours. So, guys, make sure you check out Ade on the Depot. He's got his own boxing platform. He's going to be doing a lot more talks with guests and different things coming up soon. He's on Sky Sports. He's on Talk Sport. Make sure you go.
Stop it. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. Stop it.
You've got to get bro, actually, last one before you go. Not big details, but bro, Saudi, you're there?
Bro, let me tell you. I know everyone's like a bit. It's funny because obviously everyone's angry about this AJ. So I can understand where people are a bit like, oh, I don't believe it. It's happening. It's happening. Like between us, anyway, between everyone that you've got now. Even Talk Sport have already started to put, like, I'm doing a documentary, so I'm going to AJ's gym in Finchley tomorrow. They've started the wheels. The wheels are in motion.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interviewing Femi Kuti, fellow Kuti's son.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing him tomorrow. I don't do that if the fight's not happening. They're not putting all this big expense for no reason. The fight's happening. Andy Clark. So I'm covering the AJ side. Andy Clark's covering the Tyson Fury side. Andy Clark from Sky Sports. That shit don't happen unless people behind the scenes know something's happening. Trust me, I'm getting my ticket ready for the full team because I'm going.
Yeah, man.
Bro,
I'm going. I know, Raps. I know you're going to speak in the country again.
Bruv, I'm 100% in that country, brother. Listen, you're going to see.
I know, like Frank is a bit like, oh, it's not happening. Look, come on. Look what Eddie's not going to embarrass me. Look what Eddie did the other day. Yeah. Eddie will get this done. There's too much money involved. I think it's just small little things, but this fight's happening, bro.
I think even the whole Frank Warren talk guarantees and the Tyson Fury thing, I think this is part of the build-up now.
Frank Warren is about five. Like Frank Warren has no, like, his value in this fight is almost no point talking about it. I think that's why he's upset about it. That's why he's angry. Really and truly, it's Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, and Top Rank and ESPN. Frank's got a little bit with BT Sports, who are going to show the pay-per-view as well. That's it. I'd rather listen to the guy that has the majority of interest in it, and that's Eddie. As much as people give Eddie a lot of stick, Eddie puts on the fights, And it's weird because Eddie's like a Marmite for some people for some reason. Eddie puts on the fights. There's not a harder worker in boxing right now. If Eddie tells me the fight is 100% on, I believe the fight's 100% on.
I mean, even again, and Eddie hasn't told me nothing, but a few sources are starting to say, listen, this date, that date. So I'm there.
I did the Boxing Social podcast with Rob Tebbit yesterday, and Rob was like, "Oh, this." Like, when I done it about a month ago, Rob was like, "Ain't happening." And I was like, "Oh," and Rob's saying he must know stuff. Yesterday, Rob was like, "That fight's happening," and Rob's going into the bubble now for Joshua Buatsi on the weekend, just to make sure that if he goes into this bubble, he will get the press. It will get press accreditation for the next one. This fight's happening, people. August 14th, it goes down. It goes.
So listen, brother, thank you very much as usual. We're gonna speak soon. Good luck for your show tonight, and bro, catch up soon. Good luck.
Take care, guys. Yeah, take care. Take care, brother.
Brother, take care. Yes, man. So, guys, I mean, I'm gonna quickly go through some of the chat. Sorry for you guys that were listening. We just had to get some of his comments. We've got El Emirati, a couple of comments here. One Matchroom FC was saying KO was saying Canelo under Hearn has had the biggest fight of his career. I said, what, bigger than Floyd, bigger than Triple G? Yeah, exactly. But I think that's the Billy Joe Saunders brigade. It said Andre didn't take the Charlo fight when it was offered to him. That is true. and saying, why isn't the 160-pound tramps not trying to unify? Yeah, that's definitely some points there. And he just said, big up to Ade, he said, with the slick setup. And Josh Jones came in for every 4 to 5 steps that BGS made. Canelo was making 2. Nobody moves the way Canelo does. Great points there, Josh Jones. Really enjoyed your comments today. Guys, listen, before we even start the countdown, let's go to the lines and speak to the callers. Sorry we've been late, guys. Guys, we are going to have to be a little bit strict on terms of the time, though, and keep it to 3 minutes. So apologies, guys, but we're going out to Mr. Uncle Benga, Boxing Benga. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We're doing good. You got
good?
Good, man.
Enjoying listening to all of you saying and adding with both of you, Kojo and Sam.
Yes.
So you fire when you ask me the question.
I mean, what was your thoughts on the fight?
Well, if you remember, the fight went exactly like I said it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, he's going to take him out between 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what I thought is, I will look for clues in the first round. Usually, the guys like Canelo, Floyd Mayweather does the thing in round 1. Usually a data collection exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to close with him, see what he's got, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But what I noticed in the first round, which was alarming from Saunders' side, is that I got the first round for Canelo, which for you got it a draw.
Yeah.
Not a lot happened.
Yeah.
What got me was something significant happened in that first round, which was Canelo was able to close the gap and dug in some murderous body shots with the left hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I know those were the tactics, but the fact that Canelo could get to him early, and particularly to the body in the first round, for me, that was the end of the fight. Because I'm always looking, despite my prediction with my analysis before the fight, I'm always looking to see, have I got it wrong? The key to Saunders was not to even get touched in the first few rounds, like Sugar Ray Leonard did against Marvin Hagler in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that the guy could maneuver you to the rope, even in your 22-foot thing, says volumes, which shows you that Saunders is nowhere near as fast as people were claiming.
Yeah.
Because Canelo could close the distance. I got the first 4 rounds. I think I actually scored the first 5 rounds for Canelo. He didn't have to do so much, but he was getting into the body, and it proved something, which I said to someone else before the fight. Don't be surprised when the fight starts that Canelo, it's actually proving that Canelo is actually the better, more skillful boxer, which is what happened. Now, and I guess there's a couple of the middle rounds.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing about those is he did not win those rounds. I mean, he won it comfortably.
Yeah.
You could easily some of those couple of rounds I gave to Saunders for Canelo. He nicked them. And what was important is that Canelo dropped his activity rate because he let Saunders do something. You know, I've seen that thing before.
Yeah.
The guy wins a round because the other guy allows you to win it. He wants to put on your load and get time. And in those rounds, Canelo did something. He hit him with some murderous body shots. What was particularly astonishing was, did you see the way he was able to get his body in those left foot, in particular, to the torso? A thing of beauty.
Yeah.
And that was all slowing Saunders down. Then he will try and pretend as if he wasn't hurt, stick his tongue out. But his body was telling a different story. And then in round 8, you see Canelo press on the gas because said, this is when this guy is going out. And bang, he started banging him around. Did you see the shot that broke his cheekbone. He'd been looking for the right uppercut all night, but he got Saunders to commit, step back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And he knew. And then he apparently, like you know, told me, when you get in good, you know, raise your hand to the crowd, because Saunders behaved badly all week.
Yeah.
Disrespected them, and you know,
He took
as they say, Hammers. It went according to plan.
Absolutely. So listen, Uncle, we're gonna have to move on because unfortunately we're on a tight schedule today. But thank you very much for the call and your comment as always. Look forward to speaking next week. Is a quieter week in boxing, but definitely we'll get your comments in a bit more. But apologies, we are on a tight schedule. We need to be strict with the calls. Take care.
No problem.
Thank you. We're going out to 783. Hey, who's calling? What's going on, man?
Okay,
What's going on, MK, man? Talk to us.
MK.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think with the Billy Joel fight, did you watch my story on the day?
I can't remember. Sam, did you see his story? I can't remember, to be fair.
Remind me of it, bro.
I wrote Canelo around 5 to 8. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I think everyone was getting gassed, yeah. From the fight start, yeah, you could see the general mood. Like Canelo's body language was Saunders' body language wasn't good. He wasn't throwing punches with conviction. I thought this guy's gonna get clapped. That's honestly what I thought from the beginning. That I just thought he was gonna get knocked out. That's me from the beginning. Because when he came up, he wasn't even trying to land his jab hard. I don't know what his game plan was. I don't know what it was. Honestly, I'm confused.
That's a good point, actually.
And that wasn't even Canelo's best performance. That was one of his best performances.
Yeah.
I don't think that wasn't a good performance from Canelo.
Yeah. I agree with you.
And everyone's talking about, I think the caller said that Canelo won't beat a bully. Are you crazy? Like, let's be serious now. Let's come back to reality. Like, Canelo and Lawrence Popoli. Have you seen how long Lawrence Popoli's fought over?
Yeah.
Let's be serious. Like, the only person that can beat Canelo is Benavidez. That's it. Because you're not beating Canelo running around the ring. You're not going to.
So, what chances do you give Benavidez?
If it's 100%, I give Benavidez a 30 to 40% chance. It's still low. It's better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Billy Joel Saunders was not winning that fight. Never.
Yeah.
Never winning. And you're talking about Daniel Dubois, this and that. That's why you got a man like Thorson sometimes. You know what I'm trying to say? Daniel Dubois is 24. He's 31.
Yeah. So you know what? And so, boy, just so I wanted to clear something because you know Canelo has ambitions to fight at heavyweight.
Yeah. I think he can. You know why? Because he's a small target. James Tony did it.
That's what.
But he can.
That's what I'm saying.
He can fit the right heavyweight. He can't go and fight AJ.
Or Fury. Exactly.
Yeah. If he can get like a Chisora.
Yeah.
Like a.
What about Dillian White? What about a Dillian White?
I think Dillian might be a tiny bit too much for him.
Yeah.
A tiny bit. Because Dillian got the catching counters. He likes to mix it on the inside. You know what I'm trying to say? But Canelo, remember, yeah, Billy Joel, I wouldn't say he's he's not a part-time athlete, yeah, but all the training that he's doing in the gym, yeah, for years, the hard work and dedication, it pays off in the ring. So when you've had a man, listen, put it this way, yeah, you can never make more than a man if you're working part-time. You know what I'm trying to say? And I feel like Billy not committing himself to the sport earlier on in his career cost him. It cost him certain fights. It cost him, being in a certain position.
Yeah.
But everyone, I've seen some people saying this was winning. How?
Yeah, man, we've been going through that.
How was he winning?
Yeah.
How can Billy Joe be winning that fight? Do you want to see this thing? Canelo was even throwing punches like that. He landed in the whole fight, yeah. He landed like maybe 8 solid shots. That's it, max.
Yeah.
Maximum. And he wasn't even landing fully flush.
That's it.
Like, I mean, fully flush. Like, my man's maybe leaning back and still getting caught or whatever. But Canelo, I think Benavidez got the only chance of beating him, man. I just, Billy Joe, I don't know, man. Everyone's saying he quit. Listen, in boxing, you quit in your mind before your body, yeah? So if Canelo, I wouldn't say he quit. I wouldn't say Daniel Dubois quit. But when a man breaks you down, he breaks you down, bro. Like, I'm trying to say, like, there's not a matter of part he quit. Like, he's better than you. It's not about better than you. So even if you're going to stand up and get fucked up and get knocked out, or you just know when a man's better than you.
I hear that, bro. Listen, we're gonna have to move on though, but I appreciate the call. Thank you very much as always. Love the support, and yeah, look forward to seeing you to speaking next week, bro. Love. Take care, man. Moving out to 644. 644. Yes.
Good, Joe. How you doing?
What's going on? That's Inam. What's good, bro?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, just want to summarize a few things.
Yeah.
First of all, what an event, man. I mean, that's what Canelo's brought into the matchroom format, right? Never seen a kind of stadium fight build up like that. I mean, the atmosphere was incredible. That's the first thing, right? Everyone who saw that, right? Every fighter who saw that, that's why after that, I want a piece of Canelo, right? They want that experience, right? In terms of Benavidez, I don't think Benavidez beats Canelo. I think it's tailor-made for Canelo, man. He's a come forward pressure fighter, right? Canelo doesn't even have to go look for it. Like, what was everyone saying about Billy Joe Saunders? Right? He's going to be like Lara, he's southpaw, he's going to be fleet-footed, Canelo can't catch it, blah, 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 right? Benavidez is the opposite of that, right? So I think he stops Benavidez. You know, if Benavidez takes that kind of game plan where he puts on Canelo, I think he gets stopped. You know, 7, 8, 9 rounds with the body punches. With the Billy Joe Saunders and the quick thing, I know everyone's been saying it. You know, I've got no sympathy for the guy. Yeah, you can't be doing what you've done, right? Going out of your way to talk about someone like Dubois saying you quit. Coming out with all those statements, you know. The statement is, you know, we have to break both my sockets, pull me into the ground before I give up, you know? And he quit. That's as simple as that. And basically, a lot of his fans don't like it. They're very happy when he talks nonsense. And the shooter not have a foot, you know, not happy at all. And the Andrade thing, and the thing is that Andrade is a supremely talented fighter. He is, right? But now he's past his 30 years of age. And I think what's happened in the past was offered a lot of fights, he's turned them down. Canelo knows this, and he's like, look, man, like, I mean, the way he handled it was out of order, because Canelo is like his big day, he's at a massive event, right? The last thing you need is someone coming there and disrespecting him like that, right? And then he said, you're never going to get the fight. So Andrade could have done it a lot better, right? And Eddie Hearn probably could manage that fight, right? But what he should have done is probably get someone like Andrade to fight like a Charlo, build him up, and then says to Canelo, right, let's take on Andrade, right? But I think Andrade's probably burnt his bridges there, you know? And I think the only person that's probably likely to win against Canelo is probably going to be someone at 175. And I agree with you. I don't think Beterbiev beats Canelo.
Yeah, I don't think
so. You know, Beterbiev's been dropped before, right? Canelo's got a chin of iron, right? So, and I think he just beats Beterbiev on points, probably stops him. And that's points for this week, guys.
Yeah, man. No, great points there, bro. Anything else?
No, just hoping to get an announcement soon on Fury, AJ. You know, that will be obviously one of the fights of the decade, you know, and really looking forward to hearing that fight's finally been all agreed and the site's been agreed and we're good to go. Yeah, man, I think we're going to hear that soon. But listen, Inam, thank you as always for the support. Don't forget to hit that like button and share, but I appreciate the time. Thank you, bro. Cheers. Cheers, guys. Thanks. So we're going out to 985, Mr. Appia. Mr. Appia, how you doing, sir? Daniel? Oh, have we lost you? Hello? Daniel?
Yes. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, man. How you doing?
Hello?
Yes, Daniel.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us? We can hear you.
I can hear you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can hear you all along, but you can hear me, I think it was.
Yeah, that's it,
How
man.
you doing?
We're doing good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Great show. Loving
Appreciate
the boxing talk and all that. Brilliant.
Appreciate that, man. As always, man. How you been? How you doing, man? Talk to us.
Yeah. Saturday night. Brilliant night. Brilliant event. Good fight as well. Canelo just showing how good he is. I mean, some people say he didn't perform all that, but when it was time to turn on the heat, he showed he's the man. He showed he's the man in boxing. And to be honest, as you know, I tipped Saunders to win the fight. To be honest, I don't think anyone beats Canelo Alvarez in boxing. I don't think there's anyone that can beat him.
Yeah, there's limited people, right? I mean, he's such a talented fighter.
He's a talented fighter, and I think with the power and stuff like that he's got, I think because of the powers there and the way he's ruthless and the way he can finish a fight, I think we take away, we kind of underestimate his ring IQ.
Yep.
Yeah. So, So, like, what more can you say? What more can you say?
Big,
so,
it's a big. It was a big. I mean, in terms of performance, how would you rate Billy Joe Saunders' performance if you were to score it out of 10?
Boy, I'm gonna give it a 7. You know what, right? I thought Billy Joe would do a lot better. I thought he done well. I thought he won. Like, to be fair. But I think that was more because Canelo was like, you know what? I can afford to let this guy hit me because he's not going to knock me out. Do you know what I mean? And as we know, Canelo is rocks. He's got a great chin or whatever. So, like, I think he took rounds off just to see what Billy Joe was coming with. Yeah. And then obviously he knew from round 8, round 9, round 10, 11, the championship rounds, that's when he was going to come in strong and there was going to be no stopping him. So, and the power was that power was making my phone shake, mate.
Yeah.
The power that dude was possessing was going through my phone, mate. Trust me. So, like, you know, listen, Saunders, where does he go from here? He can come back. It's going to be mental, obviously. He's got the eye injury. It's going to be mental. Who would I like to see him in against? Eubank would be a good fight, you know, it'd be a good British dust-up. But thinking of Saunders now, see, I always thought Saunders could beat Triple G, could beat Canelo Alvarez. But even what you were saying with Triple G earlier, I don't think he would beat Triple G now.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think so.
These guys, say that again?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he would either.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just like because like these guys, they got the power. We disregard their ring IQ.
Yeah. And
Triple G will cut the ring off, and he's a lot cleverer upstairs than we give him credit for. It's not just the power. So I just think that's a little bit too high for Billy Joe Saunders. I think that level's just a little bit too high, and it got shown. It got shown on Saturday night, and
absolutely, man. Listen, D, thank you very much for your call as always. Anything else you want to say before we close the show?
No doubt. Just keep up the good work, gentlemen. Just keep up the good work. Enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
No.
I'm enjoying tuning in every week, mate. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that, brother.
So, God bless you all.
Take care. Same to you as well, brother. Take care.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Yeah, man. So, guys, listen, I mean, that was some great calls there. Everyone's kind of giving some great feedback in terms of the fight. I think everybody enjoyed it. Before we close off the show, definitely want to just talk about Buatsi, who is fighting this weekend. There's a fight taking place in Manchester. We've got Buatsi, Santos. Good to see Laurent Richards coming back as well. We've got Tommy McCarthy.
Snipers on the card.
Apple Yard should be a good fight. And your 5 versus Cunningham. I mean, the card I've got to say is okay. Could be better. I think the Terry Harper potentially was supposed to be on this, I think, or maybe it was another one. But I think for Buatsi, I think he definitely needs to have an impressive win. I think he will get the win. I think, yeah, he needs this win. Let's see how, him working with Virgil Hunter is going to come to fruition. That's a new thing that he's starting to work with. So we want to see where the style has been improved and so forth. But really looking forward to this fight. Guys, how do we see Buatsi versus Dos Santos this weekend?
I'll let Sam go first.
Just business, man. It'll be interesting to see. I actually want to see Buatsi go through. Buatsi probably will get a stoppage, but I want to see at least later round stoppage. I want to see how he is with Virgil Hunter. I want to see how Virgil communicates with him. Obviously not so he just says that, but I just want to actually see how he can actually adapt. Be interesting to see his skills. But 8-9 should be able to do what he needs to do. But the card looks really good. I think this card, the undercard, looks better than what it was last week on Saturday, to be fair. Also, I mentioned to Ellis Hopkins, who's going to be on the card, who we've interviewed first, Traveller, female boxer. So it'd be interesting to see what she does. So looking forward to it.
Great point there, Sam. Yeah, she's making her debut. So yeah, we're going to wish her all the best, and I'm sure she's going to come through and look really good on Saturday night. Last one before we go, we did touch on the AJ versus Fury. I think we're going to get an announcement soon. Eddie Hearn's been out today saying that we're looking at the 14th or the 7th. It definitely is in Saudi Arabia. Last night we had Joshua put out a tweet saying, Spartan, I'm tired, my fans are tired, your fans are tired, we're all tired of the talk. Let's talk more action at Tyson Fury. And Fury responded, come get some then, you big ugly dosser. No talk, no accent. Guys, I think this fight is happening. We said that with Addy earlier on. What do you guys think? Is this fight happening? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think it's happening.
Of course it's happening. Yeah. Of course, bro. There's too much money to be made. Like, look what Addy said. I've been hearing that there's interviews and things being geared up. Even like when you look at Joshua's socials and whatnot, you can just tell he's got the fight's already been done. I just think they're just finalizing little bullshit stuff, and then it's going to be announced. Really, all the big stuff is done. It's big money. It's the fight of the decade. Hopefully, we can all get out there and be a part of kind of history, and also get a lot of fans comments and stuff out there. But it's man, this is Rumble in the Jumble, Frodo in Manila. It's that level type shit, man. And Eddie Hearn's delivered it. Eddie Hearn's delivered it.
Yeah, bro. You might as well say it. So guys, listen, we thank you very much for joining today's stream. Those of you that are watching in the past, present, or future, please remember to hit that subscribe button. Raps on TV on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Zane, let the followers, let the audience know where they can find you. Let them know your YouTube channel and your Instagram page. Yeah, you can find me at Zane's Heavy Boxing Dosage on YouTube, on Instagram. But like I said, like Kojo said, make sure you follow Raps on TV, man, because they're doing a hell of a job. So big up to Sam and Kojo, man. We're trying, man. Guys, if you do get a chance and you are kind of like looking for something to do, watch the live. I think the live between the three of us on Saturday night, we were all friggin' shattered. Nobody got any rest. And even if you just watch it for the reaction from the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders stoppages. Zane's reaction. Man. Zane's reaction says it all, man. So so for those of you that are tuned in, love the support as always. Kojo, Sam, do you want to sign out? Peace, bro. Peace, bro. Raps on TV. Peace.